Hello, welcome back to another pen talk. Thanks for tuning in. These are the new pens I got from the DC Pen Show, and this video is going to focus on the fourth one that I'll be reviewing, and that's this one. So let's dive in. As I mentioned before, this is the second of the custom pens that I got. Carolina Pen Company, Jonathan Brooks. He was a great person to talk to. He's certainly one of the giants of the industry. When I was at the Franklin Christoph table, I saw a Model 3 made out of a matte acrylic that was poured by Jonathan Brooks and maybe made by Jonathan Brooks. And also Kanaleya pens also use Jonathan Brooks acrylics. Hopefully the frog is being able to show it to you in some of its splendor, but we'll dive in a little deeper. So why is this pen in my collection? Well, I mentioned when I did my review of my DC haul, I mentioned that I was into green pens. So when I saw this on Jonathan's table, it immediately captured my attention. When I picked it up and felt it, just felt great in the hand. It's a good shape, feels really nice, posts very nicely. You don't notice any change in the weight posted. It's a fairly light pen. We'll give you those weights. I think a lot of Jonathan Brooks pens are on the large size, kind of like Jim Heinz's pens, which I will probably do the review of next. You don't really, you can feel the threads and there's a little bit of a step up there, but it's not going to affect whether you want to hold it there. The other thing that I got was I got a broad nib. I like a nice two-tone nib. And I had it ground to a cursive italic by Joshua Lax, and this is an impressive writer. So this is a number 6 Jovo nib. That scroll work is recognizable. And there's a nice little Carolina logo engraved there in the middle, right above the B for broad, and your classic Jovo feed. It works well. In addition to the pen, I got two little pen stands. One is normally included with the pen, but Jonathan was nice enough to provide me with two, which I told him would be very good to use in my reviews to stop these nice minimalistic pens without clips or roll stops from rolling away. And a nice little cloth bag. A nice design. The pen fits easily inside. It's a nice green color to go with the green pen. And it's made by Jonathan's family. I can't say enough about this finish because, I have pens that are very, very colorful. I have acrylics which are very amazing and outstanding, but this is a little bit more on the subtle side. It still has all the nuances, nice chatoyancy, interesting variations, but I don't have anything else that looks like this, feels like this, is the size of this pen. So for that reason, I was really happy with my acquisition. So now let's see how it compares to other pens. So here are three, called the minimalistic pens. The Namasu Nova in these stone-washed or tumbled titanium I've had for a while. This is a recent pen that was gifted to me, the Edison Pearl. And here's the Carolina Charleston. So they all have that, the barrel and the cap are seamless. There's a little bit of a step up here in the Carolina pen, but none in the Pearl or the Nova. Only one of these has a clip, but as you could probably tell that if you wanted to, these could be redesigned. So this is just a finial here. Cap is put into place with some type of locking mechanism, and this is probably screwed down. And of course the Namisu doesn't have a clip, but they're very similar at the end design. I think you can easily see my attraction to the Carolina pen because this acrylic just is quite nice. This green ebonite is certainly not unattractive, but is a completely different look, as is the titanium in the Nova. So ergonomically, I find this pen to be very comfortable to use. Lightweight, beefy section, easy to post, and certainly pleasant on the eye. Now it's time for the LED X-ray. You may ask, why do I do this? Because I can. It shows off those swirls pretty nicely. It shows that little ledge in there that works to seal in the section, prevent drying out, and we have some nice threads. The swirls come out pretty nicely, and it is green acrylic. So here we are with the barrel, and the first thing you notice is the barrel is thicker than the cap, at least as shown by my LED X-ray. And the other thing we can find is we go down to the bottom of the barrel is there's that classic unmachined slug at the back. You know, we just machine out enough to fit in the converter, and that's all we need. Interesting. So I think you can see that this has just a nice natural line variation to it. It is very smooth. You hear a little bit of feedback, and that's because of the grind. You heard a little bit more when I did a little pressure here on the downstrokes. But that's a pretty decent line variation, and to me that's probably what people can do every day. And that's what's nice about this nib, is it doesn't require a lot of effort to give your writing some character. I've written a number of pages with this pen. Jonathan put an ink in. I think it was a Pelican ink, which was a darker green, but I replaced it with this ink because I wanted to see how it would work. And I also put this ink in the Vertex. It had the titanium nib, so you get a chance to see this ink with different types of nibs. Yeah, it's a decent green. I have to say that if I was to go again, I would probably go back to a Robert Oster Jade or even a Sublime. The sample I had of this Pen BBS ink had a little bit more glimmer into it, but this isn't bad. So all in all, this pen just brings me a lot of pleasure every time I put nib to paper, every time I look at it. And to me, that's about as much as you can ask from a pen. And I like the fact that, you know, it has somewhat of a handmade characteristics to it, one of a kind. And that always is nice when you're into something that is verging from a functional item into an artistic item. So I'd say this nib is medium wet. This ink doesn't dry really fast, but it's not that slow a drying of ink. And it's very easy to lay down a nice patch of ink with this nib. So one of the things that we need to do is rate this pen. I'm going to give it a 9.3. So I rated the Vertex higher, primarily because I think it has more innovative design features which improve the functionality of the pen. And this one has a great look, but that's not uncommon with Mr. Brooks's pens. But I do like it, the way it works, the way it writes, the Jova nib and everything else. And, you know, if I was just to rank this cursive italic nib, then that would be a different rating. But I need to rate the pen as is. And you can obviously put whatever number 6 Jova nib you would like, including Edison's or Goulet. And thank you to Jonathan Brooks for the efforts that he's done and the amazing things that he's doing with pens, now branching into Urushi lacquer and making resins for both his pens and other people's pens. So thank you for watching. Sorry for the occasional bumping of the camera, but it is a challenge to do this. So we've reached the end of this video. May you have many great, wonderful writing experiences, and may the act of putting nib to paper stimulate thoughts and encourage you to share your thoughts and record them. That's really a nice thing. So until the next video, bye for now.